Yeah. Yeah, do you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is spider ID. Okay. And wait, let me share my entire screen. You can, if you, I think you guys have already installed Anaconda Navigator. Okay. So already Spider, Jupyter, and all these things are already pre-installed in your computer. So just type, if it is not installed, then install it from Anaconda Navigator. Okay, this is the Anaconda Navigator. It will take some time to start. Okay, I'll discuss. If you guys have already installed it, then just type Jupyter Notebook here. As you type Jupyter Notebook here, just type Spider. Okay. And if it is not installed, then install it from here. I think it is installed or pre-installed. Okay, Spider, this one. Okay. So fine. So this is a Spider ID. If you guys are familiar with MATLAB or R, this is nearly similar to that only. Here we write our code. Okay. Here we can check the variable explorers, and help means like if you wish to know the what some function does. Okay. Then you can check help here. You can also check the plots, and files means file path, like where your where the script is saved and where you wish to run it. You can change the file path as required, because when you guys will be working with some data set, then you need to mention the path of the data set in the code. And also it is recommended that where your script is, you should put your data set in that folder only, and you have to navigate through that folder to run your code. Okay. So these things are available, and this is console. Like in case of console, it is not saved anything. Like, yeah, definitely if you type something, say e equals to 1, then definitely one variable will appear here. Okay. But if you type here something, say D is a list. Okay. Okay. And if you type print type of D, then it will print class list. So it is not saved anywhere. Okay. And yeah, this is not your script. So just you can test your code here, like whatever you have written here, you can write one line by line and just check the code. Okay. So this is a Spider ID. Anyone have any doubt, like related to all these things, where to write the code and how to check the variables? And
I guess all of us are doing ours, so we are comfortable with this.
okay, then it's all right. Yeah, you guys are familiar with that. Okay, so fine. Now the main thing, I'll first discuss about debugging. Okay, so there is one function called debug. If you write a function in definition, like using this def, then you don't know that, like, okay, let me run this thing. Achha. If you wish to run the entire script, then you just run the file as similar to R. Okay. And if you just wish to run line by line, then use or just press F9 or run this thing. Okay. But this is inside a function, then you have to run it at the same time. So just select it and then run it. Okay. So our sum of square function is here. Okay. Now, if you just do something like, yeah, I am taking one variable n equals to 13, and we wish to check that if this 13 can be written as the sum of two squares. Okay. So the sum of squares of n will return only true. So the output of this function is only true or false. So you can't check that what is happening inside the code. Okay, so how to check it? So here, yeah. So here, like in this line, you can see that there is a red dot appearing. Okay. So if you, from which line to which line you wish to debug, you just click on it. One red dot is there. And the next line, like I wish to check sum of squares, what is happening inside this. Okay. So I'll put another dot here, red dot. Okay. So debugger will walk from this line to this line. Okay. Yeah, I'm clearing all the variables. Fine. So to do this, then you will see that sum of squares, how the sum of square is actually running, how the loop is actually iterating. You can check from this debugger. Okay. Then click on this debug and okay. So that debugger has started. Now you can do your next steps. Now n equals to 13. So what you will do, like you click on this step. Okay. So see, n equals to 13. This variable is here. And then you have to do sum of squares. But this is a function. Then you have to check step into, not the step. Okay. So if you click on step into, then the debugger is going to the definition, going inside the definition, like what is happening here. Okay. So next you do again step. Okay. So nothing is happening. That is the definition first line. Then again step. See here s equals to empty list. This is appearing here. Okay. And then again do step. So this is a for loop. So I is 1. The initial value of this I is 1. We are starting it from 1. So I is appearing here as 1. Okay. It will run till square root of 13 plus 1, the integer part of it. Okay. Again you do, but don't do step into here. Okay. If you do step into, then see what is happening. Like if you do step into, then it's all right. But if there is any function, okay, something called some other functions, then it will go there. Like in case of linear regression, if it is there, then it will go to the linear regression module and it will debug there. Okay. So just 2 steps here where you just wish to check the variables. Okay. Then again do step. See here, this function is not true in this case. Okay. Then it is again iterating to the next step. Okay. Like the blue arrow is here again. So again you do step. See the ith value, like the iteration number is changed to 2. I am rushing through the steps again. And see the list is appended with 1 and 4. There is another change. Okay. So again do it, again it is going back. Okay. And again it is coming. Sorry. See, here the list is appending with 1, 4 and 9. So you can check every step, like what is happening inside your function. Okay. And if you want to, this is a debugger. Okay. This is not real variable, whatever you are using. Okay. So you need to, after debugging your code, you need to stop the debugger. So just click on this stop. So it will exit from the debugger, and the original variables, whatever was inside the entire script, it is appearing here. The that debugging variables are not present here anymore. Any confusion here? Did you guys understand the how this debugger is working here? And I think it will help you for your next assignments for how to check the what is happening inside the function. You don't need to print everything inside it. Is it all okay? Like, I need you guys to respond.
Yes, understood.
Yeah. Okay. So this is the basic of debugging. So you guys try it out, and all the shortcuts are also there. You can use these functions, control plus this function keys. Okay. Now I will discuss this problem. I don't know, probably Professor Madhavan has given this in the practice assignment, hopefully. Like what I told, that we need to check that if the given value n, if it can be written as a sum of squares or not. Okay. So how to approach it? Okay. Like you need to check that if it is number of squares. So first idea would be, first think of the brute force approach. Don't think of any kind of algorithm, because it will come later, like how to optimize your code. First, try to do the brute forcing. So you need to check, take two values which will add up to 13. Okay. And you already know one thing, that you need to check till root over 13, because according to the mathematics, if there is no need to iterate it to the entire till 13, because definitely 12 square won't be equal to 13. Okay. So you check it till square root of n, like square root of 13, and then just add it. Okay. Run 2 loops. Here the thing will be a combination. Like first check 1 1, then 1 2. Like this is a combinatorial approach. Okay. 1 1 1 2 1 3 1 4. Okay. Up to 1 6. Square root of 13 will be 3 4 point something. Okay. It will run till 4, hopefully. So yeah, that, and again it will iterate to 2 1 2 2 2 3 2 4, like that. Okay. And you just add up the value, which one will be equal to 13, then you will return true, that yeah, we can write it as a sum of 2 squares. But if you can't find anything after exhausting all the combinations, then you just return that false. Did you understand this approach?
Yes.
Yes, this is pretty simple. Like we don't need to do anything like iterating through the loops and finally checking if it is equals to the number or not. But we need to optimize it. So how we are optimizing? Okay. See, we have taken one list, empty list, S. Okay. So yeah, let me debug it again to show you the sorry. Okay, see, so what it is saying, that first try to read a code. Okay, how to read a code? So for I in range 1 to this, so we know that Python indexing in general, if you write only the range, indexing starts from 0, but we want it from 1. So we have specified this in the range function. and it will run till this thing, like int max square root n, not +1. So that is why we have put +1 here. Okay. So yeah, it will append I square. And next thing, if n minus I square is not in S, okay, like our first I is 1, then we know that n is 13 and I square here for 1 is 1, then n minus 13 is 12. That is definitely not in S. Then we will again go back, like this statement is not working, we will again go back. So this is what happened. Again we are iterating, now it is 2. So sorry. Sorry. Yeah, now it is coming 4. Okay. Again, if you minus 13, minus 4 from 13, it is becoming 9. So 9 is not in the list. Okay. So then you again it is iterating to 3. So then it is coming 9. Okay, in the list. But here, definitely 13 minus 9 is 4. That is already in the list. Okay. So we know that these two things, like n minus I squared equals to this thing, this something like which is not in S, but which is already in S, then we can show that this 4 plus 9 adds up to 13. So then it is returning this statement, like it is coming inside that if statement and it is returning true. So this is how the code is working. So you have to think it in that way. First, how to solve it in a brute force approach, which data structure you want, like if it is list, if you want tuples, because list is mutable, you know, but tuple is not. And or if you want to use data frames, numpy array or indi array or normal array, whatever you wish to use, just make a scheme of it, write it down line by line that this is our problem. So first we will try to approach this in this way, like these are basic mathematics problems. You don't need to think it in like in a complex manner. No, you don't need to think like that. Okay, just write it down that what is your objective, and then to fulfill the objective, what thing you need to do first, and then try to solve it accordingly. And if you guys are not okay with this definition thing, like seriously, you can't check it out like initially that what is happening. So first write this part of the code outside, not inside the definition. Okay, you write this code outside.
Consuming. Okay, if every time you consume, you have to give a group for that consumer.
Sorry, Ashutosh Maurya. Okay, so write the entire code separately, run it one by one, and then understand what your code is doing. So if you want me to discuss any other problem, then I can. Like, do you guys have anything in mind from that practice assignment? Hello? Hello,
I wanted to ask. I wanted to ask if this debug thing is specific to only Spider, or do we have it in Jupyter and all also?
Yeah, in Jupyter you have also debugger. Okay, but you can use it in Jupyter Lab you have, okay. The steps are almost similar to this, okay. I'll share one video link so that you guys can use Jupyter Lab for debugging. But I would like to recommend you not to use Jupyter Notebook. Use Jupyter Notebook for demonstration purpose. But for coding purpose, always use Spider or PyCharm, all these things. Because you need to write the script, entire script. Okay, see here, like this is a code. So I can't write it in Jupyter. Okay, I have to run the entire thing as a whole. So yeah, Jupyter is not a very fruitful thing in that scenario. And yeah, we will discuss later, like there are more debugging techniques. And you can check that where your code is wrong. Okay, so try to write down the script as you do for R also. Okay, when you will use it for demonstration purpose, then definitely use Jupyter. Like, okay, I'm getting this, I'm getting a plot. So I'm plotting something and the plot appears in a nice way. But here you have to check plots here. If you plot something here, you have to check it here. So this is not that useful in that scenario. But for that plotting, if you wish to plot something, then definitely use Jupyter Notebook. So each and every IDE has like different usage. Okay. So it's your wish which IDE you wish to use, but I would definitely like recommend you guys to use Spider for all these things because these features are quite easy. Yeah. Any other question? Acha. Yeah. I wish to discuss this problem. Okay. Shuffle list 1 and list 2. I don't have my like I can't annotate anything. It will be bad. Okay. Yeah. So what we have to do, like we have to take two lists here. So take L1 something 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And L2 something 6, 7. 8. So what we need to do, we need to generate a new list which will output 1, 6, 2, 7, 3, 8, 4, 5. Okay, this should be our output. Like the list 1, first element, and then the first element of list 2, then the second element of list 1, then the second element of list 2. So we need to do that. Okay, if any list is shorter than, okay, fine, this is the problem. Then first you have to check that if length of two lists are not equal. First idea will be this. Then what should we do? Like up to that equal part, it is pretty easy. Okay, like for that up to which part for length, which one is the minimum? L2 is here in our case, that is length of L2 is 3. So till 3, it is pretty easy. Like we will iterate from here to range T, which is the minimum of this. So we just take another like new list as an empty list. And we will just append one by one. Like first we are appending L1, then we are appending L2. So this is the easiest step for this problem. Then you have to think that the extra elements, you have to add it instantaneously. Otherwise, if you add it here, then it will show that index error. because this you guys are familiar with all the errors. I think Professor Madhavan has taught you all the errors like type error, name error, index error, all these things.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah. Okay. Then it's all right. So it will show you the index error like L2, like there is no index after 0, 1, 2. Like if you put 3, then it will show index error. Okay. So what you have to do here, now then you have to check that if the length of any list is greater than another list or not. You have to check it. And Python is similar to English itself. If len of 1 is greater than L2, then whatever you have happened after that. From that T, okay, from that T to length of L1, you append this thing. And if that is not the case, then else we will do the same for L2. If the L2 length of L2 is greater than that L1. This is how we usually approach a problem. So these are pretty simple problems. So you have to think accordingly. Like some problem is in your hand, and what is your objective? And for solving that objective, which steps you need to do one by one. Okay. So that's all I had for you guys today. If you guys wish to, I'll circulate one problem set, like you guys wanted to solve more problems. I will check what Professor Madhavan gave to you, like assignment 2 is up today. So you guys try to solve it. If you are facing any problem, then email us and email both of us, like Abhirup and me. Email both of us because one of us definitely will reply. So don't email a single person, and try to write down everything, like where you are facing difficulty, what is the problem, mention the problem number, and then mention in which part you are facing difficulties. Okay, do that. And if possible, you can share your code also in py format or text format, anything you want. If you wish to review your if you wish us to review your code, we will also do that. And if you wish to discuss some problems apart from all these things, then do one thing, email that problem to us and CC your class. Okay, all of them should know that in which part, like which problem is the most difficult one. So you do that, CC your class, and we can have a discussion over the emails also, or we can take a gather all the problems and take up a tutorial. And also I'll do something like I'll circulate one more problem assignment, like for your practice only, like to solve all these things, because this types of problems comes in like for the first round of in each and every company. You have to write down some small codes related to this. Okay. Yeah. See, we have Ayush. We don't know about Accenture because in our time Accenture did not come. You guys can contact Shauraj, who is our senior. I'll talk to him and I'll let you guys know about it, like what Accenture asked. But it is basically from like they will ask definitely some questions on machine learning or statistics or something based on your background. If you're from mathematics background, hopefully they won't bug you much related to machine learning. Or if you just tell them that, okay, I don't know much about machine learning, or I know till this part, then they will definitely ask you from that part only, because they also know that you are for an internship, you are not mastering machine learning or something, or data science. But I think you guys have understood pretty much Python and R and statistics. So I'd suggest you that whatever Shiva or whatever Professor Madhavan taught you guys, please like go through it thoroughly and tell them confidently that we know this much Python and we know this much statistics. So you can ask me anything from that. And in case of statistics, we will definitely share one question bank for you guys, internship and as well as placements. So you can check that the questions are pretty simple, like what is interquartile range, what is a hypothesis testing. If you don't know, then just try to prepare those questions, and like if they are asking something, then try to answer it. And if you really don't know, then tell them that I don't know. Like don't linger with it. So this is my suggestion. And in case of written test, I'll definitely ask Shoraj about it and I'll let you guys know. Any other question? Because we are having only 4 minutes for the session and we can continue next week.
So about ML and statistic questions, those things you talk about the interview, right? Not the written test.
Sorry, I can't get you. Can you repeat your question?
So you mentioned about questions on ML and statistics. So those things you told with respect to the interview, right? Not the written test. Those things would be, if they are asked, they would be asked in the interview.
Yeah, see, in case of written test also, you can expect some Python, statistics and SQL also. They can ask you anything. Like in case of written test, they can ask you anything, as well as aptitude. Okay. I know about Legato, Amex, but Amex does not have that format. They have only the aptitude thing. So, but in general, the company which are going to hire in data science internship for data science internship roles, then they will definitely ask you some questions related to Python or machine learning in the written exam. You have to solve it somehow, like. Okay, and aptitude will also be there, so try to solve that too. Okay, if you're not okay with Python or some like I was not okay with machine learning thing, so I did not know, so like I just completed it accordingly. And if there is no negative mark, then mark anything. Don't think of like which one will be correct or not correct. Okay, so but this session is not related to that. Okay, so this is related to our course PDSP. Okay, so okay, I'll continue next week. If you have any doubt in the meantime, email us, me and Abhiru, and I will circulate some practice problems. Okay. Okay, so I'll stop sharing and I'll stop recording too.